I have a confession to make. I'm fascinated by all things geology, which makes me a bit of a nerd, I suppose. My dream was always to have a career as a geologist. But it wasn't meant to be, and I ended up traveling the world as a photojournalist. This is where my life comes full circle. As part of my job, I now have the opportunity to write about geological topics of my choosing. This is one of them. Most holiday makers visit the south coast of New South Wales for its unspoiled beaches, picturesque villages and fascinating national parks. And they are blissfully unaware that this region has a well-kept secret: an extraordinary number of significant geological attractions. This makes the South Coast one of the geologically most diverse regions of New South Wales, if not the country. Geologists from all over the world come to experience the rock stars here. The perfect place to start this geological journey is the coastal town of Kiama. To the north of Kiama, Bombo Headland forms a dramatic backdrop for surfers catching breaks off Bombo Beach. Behind this landmark hides the journey's first geological highlight, the Bombo Headland Quarry Geological Site, an internationally recognized geological site. It is not hard to see why filmmakers and photographers love it. The disused quarry is dominated by strikingly regular columns of dark basalt jutting into the sky. They are not the only ones that love this site. Geologists come from all over the place to look at these perfect examples of columnar jointed basalt. These shrinking columns were created when, 240 and 66 million years ago, two massive lava flows from nearby Saddleback Mountain slowly cooled. What for us laymen is a place of stark visual beauty is a dream for those who are interested in finding clues about what the Earth is composed of. While Kiama's volcanic past is easily accessible, the next geological fixture on this journey requires a little more effort. Behind the picturesque town of Berry, 25 kilometers south of Kiama, high up on the Barren Grounds nature reserve that forms part of the Illawarra escarpment, are the Drawing Room Rocks. This relatively unknown geological quirk is accessible via a short but steep bushwalk. The reward for the climb are the rocks itself, bizarrely weathered Hawkesbury sandstone forming small pillars topped by a smooth, hard mineral layer. "82 kilometers south of Berry is Ulladulla, the vibrant coastal town known for its pretty harbour, fresh seafood, superb beaches, is, no surprise here, a popular holiday destination. There is, however, an attraction that most holiday makers miss. Just behind the pool near the harbour, rock platforms built of mudstone and siltstone replace the seagrass-littered beach. This is the stomping ground of geologist Phil Smart. These rock platforms at low tide are the destination of his guided Gondwana Coast fossil walks. It is here where he introduces me to the fascinating geological past of the area. Embedded in these 270 million year old rocks are many fossils: sea lilies, sea fans, mollusks and brachiopods. On this walk you get to see them all. These fossils tell the incredible story of life in the cold Permian Sea. It is a walk back in time. Inland from Ulladulla, accessible via in sections rough dirt road, is Wild Morton National Park. Within this reserve looms a mountain high above the deep forests. The top is a solitary pimple composed of hard erosion-resistant sandstone. Named by James Cook in 1770, this is Pigeon House Mountain. An exhilarating walk leads to the top of this lone rock sentinel. With me is Diane, a friend of many years. The climb is steep in sections, but the lookout over the surrounding forest wilderness rewards for your efforts. After a short flat section and a climb through tall forest, the fun really begins. The first steel ladder begins to lead into the top section of Pigeon House Mountain. The forest stays back and sandstone cliffs begin to dominate the landscape. Then a series of recently upgraded steel ladders leads through a deep gush in the sandstone towards the top. Above, the first sweeping views open up from a flat rock platform. Step cautious here, especially near the edges. Now it is not far to the grand finale. The walk culminates on a platform on the very top of Pigeon House Mountain, where extensive views reveal the wildly eroded sandstone wilderness of the Badaway. This is another aspect of the diversity of the geology of the South Coast. Now back to the coast. Between Ulladulla and Narooma, a stretch of 130 road kilometers, the rugged coast and its wonderful national parks take center stage. Here the geological diversity, exposed by wind and waves, is on full display. My first destination along this stretch of the South Coast is Wasp Head in Murrumarang National Park. Wasp Head forms the southern edge of the Sydney Basin, a large sedimentary basin that stretches from the Hunter Valley to the coast. Weathered sandstone defines this location. To find the real geological treasures, however, I have to look more closely. One of them is a unique geological feature called ironstone boxwork, where iron-rich sediments have formed into a box-like pattern. The other exciting feature at Wasp Head are so-called dropstones. These are large rocks that have been dropped by melting ice flows into the sediments accumulating on the ocean floor. This is the aerial view of a little cove near Gorilla Bay, 22 kilometers south of Batemans Bay. Visitors come to swim and snorkel in the sheltered bays here. Many, however, are oblivious that the jagged rocks that frame the beaches are some of the oldest rocks in the area. They date back to the Cambrian Ordovician period, 510 to 440 million years ago. The thin, hard layers are tilted and folded, and the rock's sharp edges demand good shoes for those who venture out to explore these deposits closer. These rocks were formed during a period of subduction, when tectonic plates overlap and the high temperatures and pressures associated with this process converted seabed sediments to rock. The rocks are now a mix of fragments called tectonic melange, squeezed, bent and broken after they formed. This is Binji Point in Eurobodalla National Park, a rocky headland jutting 500 meters out into the South Pacific Ocean. Binji Point is mainly composed of early Devonian granites dating back 415 to 370 million years. What excites geologists and geology tragics like me, however, are the stunning dark basalt dikes and the pinkish yellow apelite dike near the tip of the point. I'd like to add a little extra to the location. The boiler of the SS Monaro, an iron screw steamship shipwrecked off the point in 1879, is slowly rusting away amongst the granite boulders. And if you're a little less excited about the rocks here, Binji Binji Point is also a great place for just enjoying scenic views, whale watching in the season, surfing, walking and bird watching. Adding to the potpourri of fascinating geological sites and landscapes is this one near Narooma. From its cemetery, perched on top of a headland, you have a sweeping view over the wild southern section of Narooma Beach. Eye-catchers here are the Glasshouse Rocks, steep rock pyramids within the churning surf. They are a favourite subject for photographers. The Glasshouse Rocks in Narooma, part of the Eurobodella coastline, are a mix of sedimentary chert and shale. These rocks date back between 510 and 440 million years, and they are known for their chevron folds, bizarrely folded sedimentary layers. To see these chevron folds close up, you don't have to venture out to the Glasshouse Rocks. A few minutes walk up the beach is a relatively small but extraordinary outcrop displaying these chevron folds. For an explanation, one has to think big. These folds are formed as a result of the collision of two tectonic plates. During the beach season, holidaymakers often lay in the shade of this rock without realizing the significance of it. Driving further south towards Bermagui, another geological feature starts to dominate the picture: Gulaga Mountain. Protected as a national park, Gulaga Mountain holds great significance for the local Yuin people. From the little village of Tilba Tilba, I follow a fire trail up to the rainforest-clad top of the mountain. Especially on misty or drizzly days, this walk is stunningly beautiful. Let me just leave you alone for a while to enjoy the images and the mood of the rainforest on a rainy morning. Often shrouded in clouds and mist, the mountain, from a distance, looks like an extinct volcano. The geological facts are a little more complex. For that to understand, I climbed further up the mountain. Below the top of Gulaga, hidden under tall trees along a ridge, giant granite tors reveal that Gulaga Mountain is actually an igneous intrusion. The magma never reached the surface and cooled slowly in the depth of the earth mantle. After uplift and millions of years of erosion, these rocks are now exposed. Please note, around the summit don't expect sweeping views of the surrounds. Gulaga Mountain is covered in dense and wonderful rainforest. Now to a complete change in scenery and weather. Following the back road from Bermagui to Tatra, most of the coastal land here is occupied by Mimosa Rocks National Park. Few visitors, however, know about its geological significance. The underlying geology of Mimosa Rocks National Park is dominated by highly folded and faulted sedimentary rocks such as slate, siltstone, shale and greywacke, which were deposited 430 to 490 million years ago. Additional sediments accumulated during the Devonian period. During this time, rhyolite was extruded over the top of the older rocks to a depth of more than 140 meters. This volcanic activity has produced striking coastal formations, amongst them the castle-like sea stacks of the Mimosa Rocks. With all this exciting geology, however, don't forget the magnificent beaches, secluded campsites and exhilarating bushwalks in this coastal park. Eden, a picturesque town on the far south coast, is my last destination on this geological journey. It is the haven for geology nerds. For good reasons. Let's start with Ainsling's beach. At the southern end of the beach, where the rock pool is situated, colourful cliffs mark the end of the sand. Although beachgoers can't miss the cliffs, most aren't aware what the yellow, red, purple and pinkish-white layers represent. Here you are looking at the rivers that flowed across this part of the world 300 million years ago. The red layers represent the floodplains through which the rivers flowed. The pink and white rocks, the actual channels of these rivers. But there's more. At Eden Harbour is a hidden and unassuming outcrop that volcanologists from all over the world come to see. It is the remains of a pyroclastic flow, a destructive avalanche of hot gases and ash. About 370 million years ago, it raced down the slopes of a long-gone volcano, incinerating everything in its path. What makes these unassuming outcrops so special are the strange circular features it contains, ranging in size from a grapefruit to a soccer ball. Gas trapped in the ash flow form bubbles, and these gas bubbles then filled with minerals over time, forming the solid balls in the rock that can be seen today. Much older, 450 million years ago, are the rocks bordering Kokora Beach, still in sight of Eden Wharf. This is another site where experienced geologists get animated. These rocks had a very hard life. They have been shaped by heat and pressure. And they tell one of the many stories here. Opposite Eden, across Twofold Bay, is Beowa National Park. One of the attractions there is Boyd's Tower. The 23-meter high structure was built by Benjamin Boyd in 1847. For geology connoisseurs of interest, however, are the strikingly red rocks that form the base of the point the tower is built on. The red mudstones and the pink sandstones there are actually the base of ancient riverine sediments. Like all the other sites I visited on this journey, this site tells a fascinating story of how Earth formed, reveals its structure and composition, and demonstrates the types of processes acting on it.